Hello everyone, welcome to Bargain Gaming, where we can play excellent games without busting our wallets. This episode is about 7 Days to Die and why I believe it is one of the best designed games I have ever played. And the reason for why it is such a good game is because what they call rule sets. This game provides the player with certain mods or choices or what do you call it? The rule sets. I'll just call them the rule sets. And because of these rule sets, it allows any player to adjust the game options or the rule sets so that it will configure it to however the player wants to play the game. In other words, because of these rule sets, he can play the game as a survivability mode. In other words, you don't care about zombies, you don't care about creativity, you just want to learn how to survive in the biomes. And this game provides 3 biomes for us: the desert biome, the temperate biome, and then I think there's a devastated biome, burnt and devastated biome, and the frigid or cold biome. So there are 4 biomes. So that's why I'll define survivability. And survivability requires ability to feed oneself, clothe oneself, drink, hydrate, and find shelter, and clothes to adjust to the rapidly changing temperature. So feed, food, clothing, water, and shelter, and then the next one would be you can also allow the player as once somebody has become able to survive in this. The game also provides a lot of designs in terms of wood, designs in terms of adobe, designs in terms of concrete and steel to construct a simple hut to a magnificent palace. Sorry. So there are a lot of options. So you have the survivability mode. Once you have conquered that, you can now change it based on the rule sets to go into a creativity mode. And then from the creativity mode, then you can even go to the challenge mode. The challenge mode is when you can actually then spawn these zombies or Zeds. And the zombies can be spawned in small amounts or in huge amounts. And all of these are dictated by what the game calls rule sets. First, you have the standard options. The standard options gives you our difficulty setting. So our difficulty setting is primarily on the adventurer mode to nomad mode. We can set it to insane mode. And here it also tells you what insane means. And then the next line tells you this is for the zombies, and you can be default that in other words, they run in evening when they're more aggressive, or in the daytime. So all of these are explained. And then never run or always run. So, and when they're running, it is very, very scary. They're onto you very fast. And if you have played this game, the dogs represent how hard it is. They're so fast, they're nimble. Although the dogs are easy to kill, but they bite hard and they are hard to target, especially if you're playing in console, where targeting is a little clunky. At least for me, unlike a mouse, you can pinpoint targeting, but in console, the 2 joysticks is not as good. And then you can determine normal enemy aggression, feral. Feral ghouls are an extremely high level ghoul. They have a lot of hit points. They hit very hard and they move very fast. And so all of those combinations makes for a very tough enemy. And then you have daylight length, which is you can adjust this in a 24-hour period, so that means It could be from 12 hours, half day, half night, or I prefer to have it at 16 hours daylight length, 18 hours daylight length, and we have only 6 hours for nighttime. So that's choices people can make. And then here we come to what I earlier described as three modes: the survival, creativity, and the challenge mode. And here you have the drop on death, the tool belt. So items that are tool belt will drop on your death, or backpack, or all of them will disappear. So when you have backpack and tool belt drop only, that means you have to return, or we have to return to our corpse to pick up the items that drop when we died, or everything. So tool belt and backpack drops where our corpse was. It makes a lot of sense, right? The fact that we were able to revive and go back and pick it up for our corpse. But the problem is, if it were the Zeds who killed us, so the Zeds will still be on the scene. And remember, our guns, or our bows and arrows, are where our corpse is. So running to it and trying to pick it up is kind of gonna be very hard. It's gonna be a trial. So that's a challenge right there. And then enemy spawning. So you can have very low disabled. So when you're in a pure survival mode, you can disable this. Pure creativity mode, you can disable this. But once you have survived the game in survivability and you have created your fortress, like in our gameplay, then you can spawn the monsters and then slowly bring it to very high, which we did at the start of the game. When we first initially spawned it on day 154, on the 147, we spawned at medium. So at medium it is 100%, that's normal. And so, but at day 154 we had it at very high. And then block durability, this is very good in terms for the player when we're talking about how hardness. This talks about the hardness of everything on the world map. So the bigger the numbers, the harder they are, and they're tougher to break down. So when we were playing it on survivability mode without the enemies, without Zed spawning yet, I place it down at 25, so it's easier to gather resources, dig our tunnels, or create our bunker at bedrock. Dig down is much easier. Digging for resources, for minerals, for nitrates, for iron is much simpler. But then once we have set up our fortress, we want it to be 100 is normal. We want it to be at 200, because then it takes the Zeds twice the amount of time to break down, or it's twice more harder to break down our defenses. And then you have the loot respawn time. You can have it totally disabled, so that once you pick the bird's nest, they will not respawn. Or put it at 5 days, so it happens every week. Or you can put it at 10 days, so it happens every week and a half. Or 15 days every 2 weeks, 20 days, 30 days. It makes it harder for us. So that means I usually put it at 5 days. So it is so loot respawns. We can go back there. We can collect all the glass bottles again. So, and then loot abundance again is determined. Normal is 100. I usually put it at 200 so that we have the resources and we can play this game much faster. Because if not, it will be, if we everything at standard, block is at 100, and loot is, we will still at day 150 at 144. We will still not be ready to meet the Horde Knight and fight it off without with a fair chance, or with a high chance of surviving it. So these are different challenges. A 24-hour cycle. This determines how long game day time is compared to real time. So I usually put it at max. so that for every 2 hours real time is 24-hour game time. Or you can put it at minimum so that it happens very fast. For every 10 minutes, it's one gate. 10 minutes for us is one real day, game day. So right now, I'd rather have not 120 minutes. It takes 2 hours before one full game, so I can really slowly go over whatever. I'm not very fast on my feet, so I take my time doing this. Again, so these are the rule sets. And mark airdrops. So because sometimes airdrops always happen on the at 12 noon, and sometimes because of Zeds or because we're doing something else or we're in a creativity mode, we're building our house or we're building our bunker, we don't have time to go out there and pick up the airdrop. And so what happens then, if it's marked on the map, after we save it and we leave the game, we come back, it's still on the map. And anywhere we come close to it, we will see it will pop up in our radar, and so we can still access it. And the airdrops are very important because, like in our revisited gameplay, we got a sniper scope early on in the game. You know, it was not a very high quality one. It was just an orange caliber one. I think we were like maybe level 10 or 12 or 15 or something, and it was in one of our airdrops. And with that, wow, we suddenly don't have a problem on food. And most importantly, because of the sniper rifle, we were able to take down a lot of game, deer, pork, pigs, and even hare or chickens once in a while. And not only the food, the meat compartment, the meat part, but the lard part. Because what they did, they changed on version 18 is that torches now can only be made from tallow, which is derived from animal fat. And so unless we can actually hunt zombies to get their fat, but deer and pigs don't hit back, and they regularly drop fat. Like a deer can drop 4 to 6 fat or 3 to 6 fat, and pork can drop from 4 to 8 fat. So torches or lighting in this game, and this version 18, is very, very tough to come by. You can have mobile spotlights, but mobile spotlights are even rarer because it can only be formed from headlights and from cars by disassembling cars. And there are only limited cars in the game. They're much more limited than game. Game itself is also very limited. And so lighting, especially underground, especially if our bunker, if we, like us in this gameplay, when we decided to make our main fortress or main site in a bunker, we need a lot of torches because we will be digging, mining, tunneling, doing all kinds of stuff, and we need torches. And torches are irreplaceable inside in the tunnels. And we're digging a lot of tunnels because not only for our bunker, but for minerals, for iron, for gunpowder, nitrates, coal, and lead. So we need all kinds of stuff. So the airdrop, going back to the airdrop, so the airdrop made it possible for us to have a bunker well lighted early in the game because we now have access to torches. Without game, I think our game would be without animals out there. The game would be, our fortress would be a lot more limited. And then unowned bikes, that is something, I play on my own, so that's not, it's immaterial as far as I'm concerned. So, and then there's rule sets, there are adventurer, so they automatically, because of the difficulty involved, they will automatically adjust it based, if you are going into a harder mode, then they adjust all these modded options. All of these things will adjust based on the difficulty rating or difficulty setting we set it at. So this one, this modded options, this is the best for me. This is the answer because, you know, the difficulty settings adjust them differently from our own sense of difficulty or what we want to accomplish. Like if we just want survivability mode, then we don't need like the Zeds from ever spawning, right? And then so that will be turned off. And like this one, we can just turn this off because we don't. If we just want survivability and or creativity, this will be turned off. And then we will bring block durability down to 25. Spawn is 5, and then loot abundance 20, airdrops 20, 24, or hours 120. So that would be our setting. See, this is my setting. So there is no setting like this on those on the rule sets. So I would rather mod it myself, and that is why this is the part of the game that I really give the software developers the highest marks. In essence, this should have been this should be their main selling point because this can touch or reach out to a much wider audience because of the customizability. You can customize this game to your own play style, and as such, it should be their main selling point. And I believe if people realize this, more people will be playing this game because they can play however they want because of these options presented by the developers. I wish more games have this wide variety of customizability, so that I don't know. I'm running out of words because this level of options, if they're available in more open world games, I believe a lot more people will be more than willing to try it because you know you can play at whatever setting you want because if each person has his own playing style, has his own likes, you know, we can really go all out in creativity in this game because we have all kinds of building blocks. You know, we have wooden type building blocks, we have adobe, we have concrete, and we have steel, and we have drawbridges, we have gates. This game is amazing in terms of the amount of materials that we can work with, and also it requires levels and choices because the maximum level in this game is only 99, and we are given 5 perk points every level up we have. And then there are a lot of perks available to us that we can invest in. We cannot invest 99 times 5, say 100, that's 500 points only. That's 500 perk points. And if you add up all the perks, they are well over 1,000 perk points. So we cannot have everything. So even on the perk side, we have to really pick what we want to be good at. And then there are and some of the perks can be developed by playing the game. So we don't have to buy them, but we can earn them by doing things like skills in terms of guns, rifles, shotguns, blunt objects, bladed weapons, pistols. They all have different category perks to them. And so those can improve by using those items more. So you don't have to buy those perks. And I would never suggest to you that you buy those perks. Then there are perks that you have to buy that cannot be earned in the game, like the ability to mix concrete, the ability to make a workbench, the ability to make a chemistry lab, the ability to make ammunition. Those are perks that one has to buy, or the perks that allow us to survive the game better, like ability to lose, because there's a lot of physics based on this game, and stamina is more critical actually than health, because every time you run, you use stamina. Every time you jump, you use stamina. You run out of stamina, you're dead. You cannot. I mean, you're not dead. The zombies can just glom onto you, and then, and then you're dead. So stamina is important, and then the ability, you have to have a lot of stamina. You're constantly scavenging, you're constantly running, you're constantly looking at stuff, or even breaking rocks, gathering resources. They all require stamina, and there are perks in the game that allows the reduction of stamina usage. Also perks in the game that allows us to be less hungry and less thirsty. So with those perks can be bought, those cannot be developed. So it's a good idea. So it's a trade-off, that there are many perks that can be earned or that can be learned by using, and then there are perks that we need to survive better, and then there are perks that we want. And so there are so many things in this game, and the more you play this game, the more I play this game, the more I appreciate how much thought and detail went into the game. And then by providing all of these modded options, now, because of such a wide variety, so much detail in this game, I believe any player will be attracted to this game if they know that they can tweak the game mechanics or the options to fit their playing style or something they're comfortable with. It's because some people don't like violence, so we can get rid of the Zeds. Some people like pure creativity. They want to build castles, massive castles. That's available here. And then some people just want to be able to survive, and so that's also there. That's the basis of the game. So this is, for me, it is one of the best games ever, not because of its completeness, its open world basis, and then also, once you have used up the Navis game, the default game environment, you can generate random games, and then now the whole new challenge, meaning you're no longer familiar in familiar territory, and so you don't know where the city is. Like you're not familiar where Gravestown would be, or Pariston, or what's the other city? Darsville. And you won't know where they are. There will still be cities, there will still be towns, but they will be in different locations. And so again, the replayability is there. So that's why this game is not coming off my hard disk, and I will be continuing to play it, but of course I won't be uploading it anymore because most of you guys have seen what I have done, unless I do the random games, but then it's just similar actions in a different environment. Anyway, so I won't be doing sorry about that. Sorry. There are a lot more games out there that needs to be played and is crying out to be played. So I will be uploading those games, because I believe once you see those other games, you will want to play with those games also. Okay, anyway, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you will join me in my next episode. Bye.